welcome to Cut the Slack. We are here today in, on location, kind of like a bit of a barbecue today.
Oh yeah. we gotta weave in all the activities.
Yeah, you might hear some background noise. We've got a lot of people having a good time out in the recreational areas here. But we wanted to come to you today and talk a little bit about something different. We've kind of had a flavor of all the things that have happened in 2020, but we're turning back to kind of our original focus, which was personal development.
Yeah.
And we've talked about a lot of things, whether it be Grant Cardone, 10Xing, and really putting 10 times or 100 times more effort into things. We've talked about other people that have, done things to help society in a way, like peaceful parenting is definitely something that would allow society to upgrade. But more specifically, you and I have kind of really been focused on personal development in maybe a different way, almost superhuman.
Could be. That's what you keep saying.
That's what I keep saying.
You're a little more versed in it than me. So I'm a noob, and you're just, we're talking about breath work, right? So
yeah. So as Billy says, I've been into meditation and quantum physics and trying to combine, really not trying, but learning the science of combining those two theories or possible laws of the universe using things like law of attraction. Legitimately also seeking a better relationship with God or our Creator as well, but definitely trying to harness some kind of power in some way, whether it's just positive thinking that seems to manifest a better life. Maybe you're just reprogramming your brain to be better, but maybe you're actually working with energy out there in the quantum field or in the universe, and somehow, but energy by itself is kind of useless, because unless you have it focused to do something, then you're getting maybe no benefit from random energy.
Right.
So yeah, I've talked a lot about meditation and trying to get in touch with your spirit inside, and getting more in touch with God, so that in effect your life goes better, or maybe you can control things a little more, or maybe at least just be able to bring good things to you to upgrade your life. But then we started going a little bit farther, and it was like, you actually mentioned avatar upgrades, and that phrase really kind of piqued my interest, because when you think about an avatar, you think about a video game.
Right.
Video
character.
Game. Yeah, you got a character, and you're trying to get points and power-ups or unlock a skill. But what I thought about as you're saying that is we can actually do things that are very common, like learn a new language, or maybe learn to program a computer, or learn accounting or something like that.
Right.
That gives you a new skill, a new set of data to work with that makes life easier. And then we started learning about guys like Wim Hof, who is from, I want to say, the Netherlands or somewhere like that, in that area. And he's learned how to use breath work to control his metabolism and his body temperature.
Yes.
And I was fascinated with that. There's been a lot of things that people have said about breath work, from the most basic of just, if you're having a bad day, breathe in, or count to 10 and take deep breaths, and somehow that calms you down. And that's pretty cool, but also pretty elementary. And then when you kind of graduate to this higher level of, maybe you can use breath work to actually control your body temperature, and it allows a guy like Wim Hof to swim in, sub-zero or freezing temperature water. I don't know if there is sub-zero water, because that's probably not true. It's probably not true.
Beautiful. I love it.
32 degrees. So anyhow, he's able to swim in Arctic water. He's able to sit in ice for long periods of time and regulate his own body temperature without getting hypothermia, losing fingers and toes and stuff like that. So that's kind of like, I went from the basic breath work to the extreme Star Wars kind of breath work. And somewhere along the way, you kind of maybe sparked an interest in yourself on this. So what did you find?
Yeah, so I had never heard of Wim Hof until our buddy over at Float State mentioned it, you know, and so he had an event there, and it was that same breath work plus the ice bath. And so everyone, it was really cool seeing the videos and stuff, but I watched Joe Rogan. So
right. Okay.
there's, I can't really take full like, oh, I discovered this, but I did through him, and because I respect him, I respect his conversations. There's, a lot of knowledge in, taking in this information. So he had someone on there recently that wrote a book called Breathe or Breath. I keep mixing those two up. It doesn't have an E. It's a breath.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and basically from what he was saying, like our whole jaw system from a very young age is actually malnourished. And our jaws should be a lot wider and stronger, but because kids are being raised on formulas and yogurts and these soft foods, it's not developing their jawbones enough to really, turn into what it should be, which is maybe eating more meats and things that are gonna
or even like the vegetables that you have to chew, like
raw vegetables
or apples.
It's so natural to like boil and steam your vegetables because it's nice and soft. I do it too,
Sure.
And it's like, but you're not doing yourself any favor. It's like taking the elevator over the stairs. And
sure.
So the top of our roof, or the roof of our mouth, is shaped based on our ability to either breathe through our mouth or through our nose. Like our entire facial like bone structure is influenced by whether we breathe through our nose majority of the time or through our mouth the majority of the time.
I had no idea about that.
And you're not supposed to breathe through your mouth. Like that's a thing. It's not getting filtered. You're not activating these canals. Like they say that there's like we have our brain, we have our eyes, our, whatever, but there's actual just hollow spaces in our skull specifically made to house air. And that sounded like error, like an error, but it's specifically built, they say it's like the size of like a small grapefruit in our head where air goes in there and then it kind of filters through and then it goes down. And when you breathe through your mouth, it's not going through that system. And so you're, it's weird, but yeah, people.
So I never even thought about this because I just figured nose or mouth, it's the same thing,
same
right?
air.
It's
the
same
tube.
And sometimes my nose gets stuffy and it's just easier to breathe through my mouth. But you're saying that that's detrimental.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, you're not using, again, there's a whole mechanical system of filtration that is up here. And when you breathe through down here, it's not going through there. And so, our jaws are like put together kind of like this. And there are devices out there where you hook into the roof of your mouth and you turn it a little bit at a time.
And you stretch the roof of your mouth.
You stretch the roof of your mouth, and now your teeth that may have been crooked, causing you pain, getting infected, this and that, because they're all scrunched in there, now they have room. And it's like,
wow.
These are different philosophies of approaching orthodontics and stuff like that. So typically it's like, oh, you got too many teeth, we're going to pull the teeth.
Right.
They're
crowded. They say you've got a small mouth.
Right.
So do you think that's true, or is this because of maybe a change in society that's happened?
So yeah, there's an argument there. Like again, we eat meat, and the more you chew, the more you're developing these muscles. It starts when you're super young, and but yeah, a lot of kids, they get braces and this and that, and it's like maybe you're not exercising your jaw enough, and you're not, protecting like what goes into your system. It goes back to sugars and all the bad stuff.
So we have this kind of a change in society, a change in how food is presented to us, whereas before we were eating meat, straight meat and vegetables, or, and probably a lot of raw vegetables and things like that, having to chew a whole lot more than when you're on a yogurt or a soft food kind of a diet. And what you're saying is that lack of development of the bone structure and the muscles is affecting a person's ability to breathe.
Right.
And then that in turn causes other problems. So with what you were talking about with your breath work,
and that's one little sliver. That's what I'm saying. That's one
that's
little
the tip of the
tiny
iceberg.
sliver.
Right.
Like getting your body, your avatar, tuned to breathe through its nose is like step one, or not even. It's like intro. Then you're talking about creating these long, patterns of breath that can release chemicals in your body, change temperature. You can direct energy at that point. And like you were saying earlier, like, oh, this this nostril is plugged today. I woke up and it was plugged. It's like, cool. Most people, they're going to go and find a product to solve that. They're going to find some external drug, medicine, this and that. And it's like, no, through these different breath sequences, you may be able to just get that handled. Yeah. But it all goes back to our energy, harnessing it, not being distracted, putting down the phone, not being available to the outside, thing. You may have to sit there for 2 or 3 hours in silence, breathe, not silence, but
sure, focus.
You're focused on your breath.
Yeah.
And then you can start to alter your chemistry.
And that's what really intrigues me. I mean, as a child, I saw movies like Star Wars and things like that, Superman, and people that could move things with their mind or with their energy, telekinesis kind of a thing, or even be able to communicate, telepathy. So I was always fascinated by superpowers, but it always seemed like a comic thing to me. Like it was a movie, it was a comic book kind of a thing, mainly just fantasy, never ever going to be real. But now we're starting to see that there are people like Wim Hof that can climb. He's climbed to the top of Mount Everest in a pair of shorts and boots.
Most people need oxygen, all this.
Yeah. But and they need layers and layers of clothes and all of this kind of stuff. He swam 100 meters under blocked ice, in a lake. And then, he's also been able to regulate his body temperature for as long as an hour and a half or more, to prove that he actually can sit in ice that's up to his neck and still maintain without getting any hypothermia or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, one thing I was surprised to learn about was that through his breathwork techniques, he's able to not only control his temperature and his metabolism, but also supercharge his immune system to where at one point they did a study, they injected him and some of his followers with a virus, and they were able to build their immune system on command to fight this virus so that they didn't get sick at all. So that to me just blows my mind that we even have that kind of ability, and it stems just from breath work. And to me, what that says is that is again the tip of the iceberg. If we're learning a basic skill here,
right,
to breathe, that's super basic, and we're learning to finally control that now. But then, as I mentioned to you earlier today, I learned that the CIA released a document or a statement that said that they've studied astral projection and it's real. And it's not me saying it, it's the CIA.
Yeah.
So what that means
and
to
what
me,
is that? What is astral projection for those who may not?
Good one. Yeah. So astral projection is basically the ability to allow your spirit to leave your body and travel wherever you might want to go.
In real time.
In real time.
And observe.
Yeah. So through a certain technique or form of meditation, you're able to separate your spirit energy from your body, and your body stays fine, living, breathing, just in a meditative state while you go and can fly around the earth. And then they went as far as to say that it could also, at that point, we're not limited by physical bodies, so you could travel to another planet if you wanted to, and possibly even another dimension.
Yeah.
And this is something that's always been like hocus pocus, and no one has ever really believed it other than to just watch a really cool movie and say, wow, that was neato, the special effects were great. But at this point, what's happening is the CIA is saying they've studied it for a number of years. I don't know how many.
Oh, yeah.
But for them to even be interested at all means there has to have some validity to it. So now we're going from learning to control your body temperature, which at this point, after I mentioned astral projection, if you say it the right way,
Yeah.
then astral projection seems like super basic, that we're able to control our temperature with our breathing, but that's still pretty
elementary.
Epic. It's epic at the same time. It's
Yeah.
elementary, but it's epic that we can control our body. But then
Yeah,
we
you're
can
peeking
go
in the door.
peeking in the door,
Yeah.
and basically then you shift to almost a polar opposite, or at least an extreme of being able to leave your body and travel somewhere, which has only been in fantasy before.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I'm interested in. I don't know enough about it other than that I've read books. I've watched some videos on YouTube with people that said they did it, and then now the CIA says it is a real thing.
Yeah.
So where I'm going with this is, I don't know that I'm interested in leaving my body and traveling the world. I guess it would be a cheap
Have
way.
you ever felt anything similar to that?
I have tried it once, years ago. I
Yeah.
tried it without any real instruction, just the basic instruction that if you lay down and then you picture yourself looking at yourself laying down,
Yeah.
then that somehow starts the process.
That's like triggering it
And
if
then-
you focus on that for so long.
But it's a weird thing, and it's really difficult to do because you're kind of thinking, you're making your mind think in an abstract way that's not what we've learned over the past few decades of this life on Earth. So what I experienced is that I started to get it. I started to be able to see myself laying in bed and look at myself, and you felt a little bit of a tingle,
Yeah.
and then it was almost like you got freaked out. Like this, whoa, that was different.
Get me out of here.
And you almost don't want to let it happen, maybe because you fear dying or something like that.
A little bit of resistance. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a definite resistance because it's not natural to what we've learned over our lifetime. And that's about as far as I've gotten. Maybe one time I don't know. I think I had one person say that I appeared to them once.
When you sleep, is it typically, or when you were doing that, did you have nose breathing, mouth breathing, or was that not even a thing?
I was just laying on my back. I mean, I think in this case I was breathing through my nose, and then trying to focus on the task at hand.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, okay, now the CIA just said, okay, this is real. It's not just fantasy, and people can do it. It's a skill, not a talent. It
Right.
can be taught to people, and we just have really been stuck in a period of time where we think we have no power.
Yeah.
We are helpless and we can't do anything. We just wake up, eat food, use the restroom, procreate, and then die.
Repeat.
Right. So
Repeat.
What this is suggesting through the breath work that we're talking about, and through things like this, these other topics like astral projection, is that maybe there's more to all this, and maybe we do have the ability to develop superhuman powers.
When you sleep, is it typically, are you breathing through your nose or your mouth?
I'm a mouth breather, dude.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
know
taped my mouth shut last night, and I slept with a piece of tape over my mouth. As
What?
weird as that sounds,
What?
I did it, and just to start that, habit of breathing through your nose.
And this came maybe from the podcast or what? Yeah. Like how? So what are they saying is the benefits of breathing through your nose?
You're using, like I said, that system. And so when you breathe through your mouth when you're sleeping, you lose 40% more water in your sleep.
Wow.
And so.
And that's not metaphysical. That's real water.
That's real
so
measurable
you're getting dehydrated.
dehydration by breathing through your mouth versus your nose.
Wow.
So, that in turn creates stress on your body. Maybe you need to wake up, take a piss. Now you need water. It's an interruption. So
Right.
It's like.
And you wake up at a deficit with your water too.
Yeah.
So based on that, most people that breathe through their mouth at night are probably waking up dehydrated.
Yeah. So, So I did that, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to keep going for maybe 30 days.
I'm
Check it out.
interested to find out.
Yeah,
I'm interested
you
to
should
find
try
out.
it. You should try it too.
Well, so what I'm doing in the next couple of weeks is I'm going to go ahead and take the Wim Hof class.
That's right.
And learn the techniques that he used of breath work, see if I can actually increase my body temperature, and then sit in a huge vat of ice water.
I can't wait to see that. It's going to be awesome. Hell yeah.
So if that works, we might just be on the verge of starting to upgrade our like physical human status to something kind of cool, dude.
I love it.
Let's
It's going
do
to
it,
be
brother.
good.
Here we go.
Good set.